Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time here, I'm really glad you found us today, because what we are talking about in this video is something that I genuinely did not think I would ever get to say out loud. Cadillac is bringing back the Series 60. Let that sink in for a second. The Series 60. One of the most elegant, most refined, most quietly powerful nameplates that Cadillac has ever put on a car. And trust me, Cadillac has put some incredible names on some incredible cars over the decades. It's coming back for 2026 and carrying right into 2027. And from everything we know so far, this comeback is the real deal, so settle in. Because today, we are going deep on the return of an absolute American classic. Now I want to take a moment before we get into the details of the 2026 model, because I think it's really important to understand just how significant the Series 60 was in the first place. A lot of people talk about the Series 62 when they talk about classic Cadillacs, and rightfully so, but the Series 60 holds its own very special place in the history of this brand. The Series 60 was introduced in the late 1930s, and it was positioned as Cadillac's refined, elegant choice for the buyer who wanted something a little more understated than the top of the range, but still absolutely unmistakable as a Cadillac. It wasn't trying to be loud. It wasn't trying to show off. It was simply a beautifully proportioned, beautifully built luxury automobile that carried its occupants in genuine comfort and real dignity. And that combination, understated elegance paired with serious quality, is something that the luxury car world honestly needs more of right now. For years, Cadillac enthusiasts have been asking the brand to look back at its heritage and find a way to bring some of those classic nameplate stories back to life in a modern context. And Cadillac has been listening. The Series 62 announcement already sent shockwaves through the community, but the confirmation that the Series 60 is also making its return for 2026 going into 2027, that felt like Cadillac was making a genuine, serious statement about who they are and where they're going. This isn't a nostalgia play. This is Cadillac planting a flag. So let's talk about what the 2026 Cadillac Series 60 actually looks like, starting from the outside. Because honestly, the exterior design of this car is one of the most talked about things in the automotive community right now, and for very good reason. The Series 60 was always known for being slightly more formal and composed in its appearance compared to its siblings, and Cadillac has carried that philosophy forward beautifully into this new generation. The body is long and graceful, with clean, uninterrupted lines running from the front all the way to the rear, without unnecessary creases or aggressive character lines breaking up the flow. It looks calm and composed in the best possible way, like a car that has nothing to prove and knows it. The front end carries Cadillac's signature grille and vertical lighting presence, but everything about it has been scaled and proportioned specifically for the Series 60's more formal character. Where some of Cadillac's other models lean into a more aggressive, athletic stance, the Series 60 goes the other direction entirely. It's wide, it's planted, and it carries itself with this quiet authority that makes you stop and look, even if you can't immediately explain why. The chrome detailing along the body is precise and considered, never overdone, running along the window frames and accent lines in a way that adds richness without being flashy. And when you walk around to the rear of the car, you're met with a trunk line and taillight arrangement that feels deeply connected to the classic Series 60 proportions of the past, wide, horizontal, and dignified. It is the kind of rear end that looks equally impressive whether the car is parked outside a hotel or moving quietly down a highway. The overall silhouette of the 2026 Series 60 is something that I think is going to age incredibly well. Cadillac made a very deliberate choice not to make this car look sporty or aggressive. Instead, they leaned fully into elegance and proportion, and the result is something that looks genuinely timeless. You could look at this car in 20 years and it would still look right. That's a rare thing in modern automotive design, and it speaks to how seriously Cadillac approached this project from the very beginning. Now let's step inside, because the interior of the 2026 Cadillac Series 60 is something that I have been looking forward to talking about since the first details started coming out, and it absolutely does not disappoint. From the moment you open the door and slide into the driver's seat, or the rear seat, which we are absolutely going to talk about, you are surrounded by an environment that feels like it was assembled by people who genuinely care about craft. The quality of the materials throughout this cabin is exceptional. Leather that is soft and substantial at the same time. Wood trim that has real depth and grain to it, not the kind of surface treatment that tries to imitate wood, but the actual material itself. used thoughtfully and generously throughout the dashboard and door panels, metal accents that feel solid and premium in the hand. The dashboard layout on the Series 60 is clean and architectural, drawing from the classic horizontal design language of those original models while feeling completely appropriate for 2026. Everything is logically placed, everything has a purposeful feel to it, and the overall atmosphere inside the cabin is one of calm and quality rather than spectacle. This is not a car that hits you over the head with its interior. It welcomes you into it. And that distinction matters enormously when you're talking about a car in this segment. The front seats are beautifully shaped, wide and supportive, with plenty of adjustment range and heating and cooling as standard. But again, it's the rear of the car where the Series 60 makes its strongest case for itself. Cadillac has given the rear passengers of this car a truly extraordinary amount of space and comfort. The rear seat cushions are long and deeply padded. The backrests have a recline function that lets you genuinely relax on longer journeys. And the legroom is exceptional. There is a real sense that Cadillac designed this car thinking very carefully about what it means to be a passenger, not just a driver. For a car with this kind of heritage, a car that was always as much about being driven as it was about driving, that feels completely right and completely authentic to what the Series 60 has always been about. The overall cabin experience in the 2026 Series 60 is one of genuine serenity. Road noise is superbly controlled. The seats absorb imperfections in the road with real composure, and the general atmosphere inside is one that makes even a long journey feel effortless. This is a car built for people who appreciate the journey as much as the destination, and Cadillac has delivered on that promise in every detail of the interior. Now let's talk about what all this is going to cost, because the 2026 Cadillac Series 60 is very much a premium product, and the pricing reflects that. Current expectations place the starting price somewhere in the range of $85,000 to $95,000 for the entry configuration, which positions it slightly below the Series 62 and gives it a very compelling place in the Cadillac lineup as a whole. Fully optioned models, particularly those with the extended rear comfort packages and the higher specification trim levels, are expected to approach and potentially exceed $130,000, depending on how you build the car. And when you look at what Cadillac is putting into this vehicle, when you sit inside it and experience the materials and the craftsmanship and the sheer sense of occasion it delivers, that pricing feels genuinely justified. You are not paying for a badge. You are paying for a complete and considered luxury experience. What makes the pricing story particularly interesting is where the Series 60 sits relative to its European competitors. For years, American luxury buyers who wanted a truly world-class large sedan had to look to Mercedes, BMW, or Genesis to find something at this level. The 2026 Cadillac Series 60 changes that conversation completely. Cadillac is saying with this car that American luxury is back at the very top table, and they're backing that statement up with a product that can genuinely stand alongside the best in the world. Production on the 2026 Cadillac Series 60 is expected to begin in the latter part of 2025, with first customer deliveries scheduled to roll out through the opening months of 2026 and continuing strong through 2027. The expectation within the enthusiast community is that demand for this car is going to be significant from day one, partly because of the nameplate's emotional heritage and partly because the product itself is simply that good. If you are someone who has been thinking about reserving one, the general advice from those following this closely is not to wait too long. Cadillac is on an extraordinary run right now. The Series 62 is coming, the Series 60 is coming, and together, these two cars represent something genuinely exciting. A brand that knows its history, respects it deeply, and has the confidence and the capability to bring it roaring back into the modern world in a way that feels earned rather than forced. The Series 60 in particular feels like a car that was always supposed to exist in 2026. It fits the moment perfectly. So what do you think? Are you excited about the return of the Cadillac Series 60? Is this the car that finally brings you back to an American luxury brand? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one of them. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, because it really does help the channel more than you know. Hit subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming coverage as we follow the Series 60 all the way through to launch. We are going to be right there every step of the way. I'll catch you in the next one, everybody. Take care.